There's a couple of applauses in there. You can applause for this school. That's okay. That's some applause. I hope that you're all very excited to be here. And to start things off, I get the distinguished and esteemed privilege to introduce a man of great wisdom, someone who is a sage of wise advice, someone I look up to because he's my boss's boss's boss, someone who's in charge of all undergraduate studies here at the College of Business, an international sports superstar, well known around the world, and also someone who's pioneering the science of haiku a day keeps the doctor away. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Prem Matthew.
Good evening, everyone, and Stephen, thank you for the introduction. I learned something new about myself every time we do this. On behalf of all of the faculty and staff here at the College of Business, I want to welcome each and every one of you to our family. Whether you're joining us from an exchange program in Singapore or you're joining us from our very own College of Engineering, I want to let you know that you are joining the best and most supportive college here on campus, and by far the best College of Business here in the state. So I'd like to start today by, I'm Prem, by the way. I'd like to start by taking you some numbers, kind of what describes all of you. We have, coming in this fall, 435 transfer students. That's by far our biggest class. Good for you. Of those, 31% of the students are from out of state. We also have international exchange students in the audience. We've got 35-ish exchange students from 10 exchange partners. 8% of our students are international, 32% first gen, and 25 vets of US military. So I want to get a sense of where all of you come from. So I'm going to start with the community colleges and then kind of work my way more broadly. So let's start with LB. Let's clap. I hear that there's a prize for the loudest cheer. No? All right, so let's try it again. LB. Woo! How about Lane? You can clap if you're the only one. Chemeketa. PCC. Yeah! Let's see, SWOCC, Southwestern. Mount Hood. Yeah! Clackamas. Umpqua. Very nice. Have I missed anyone? Rogue. No? All right, let's go a little more broadly. How about out of state? How about international? All right, I'm going to give it to LB. Oh, sure. All right, here's what the demographic looks like in terms of the number of majors. 242 of you are business administration majors. That includes entrepreneurship and supply chain. 21 are finance, 17 BIS, 24 management, 9 merchandising management, 8 apparel, 8 interior, 44 accounting, 48 marketing, and 14 design and innovation management. You're going to be here for another 2 years. You've got plenty of time to change your major if you choose to do so. All right, I wanted next to introduce you to some of the people, some of our family here, that you will definitely get to know better in your next 2 or 3 years here with us. First of all, the student engagement team, of which Stephen is a member. The student engagement team oversees and instructs the blueprint model, which is the 1 credit courses that each of you will take in each term that you're here with us. They also oversee Penny's Closet, they also oversee student clubs, and much, much more. So all of you from the student engagement team, can you please stand or wave? Next up, most of you are starting in your 3rd year, so you're looking at internships and jobs pretty soon. The Career Success Center here in the college will help you along that way. Leading the Career Success Center is Dan Ziriax. And Cody and Rihanna, if they're here, can you wave?
They're in Austin.
They're in Austin, okay. Yeah, they're preparing for the next event. Next up, a lot of you come in here with a lot of credits. The people that will allow you to graduate most efficiently are our advising team. I'm sure most of you have met at least one of them. They're your best friends. Advising team, can you please stand? So this year in the college, we've implemented a new organizational structure in which programs that have some commonality were brought under schools. And so we have 3 schools now. Within the School of Marketing, Analytics, and Design are our business analytics degree, all of our design programs, our marketing degree program, and merchandising management. The school head is Dr. Colleen B. Our second school is Management, Entrepreneurship, and Supply Chain. And as you can imagine, the programs under that are Entrepreneurship, Management, and Supply Chain. The school head is Pauline Schilpsand, and I think she's not here tonight, correct? Okay. Third school is Accounting, Finance, and Information Systems. The majors, the programs under that are Accounting, Business Information Systems, and Finance. Very smart. And John Becker-Blees is the school head. I don't think he's here tonight either. So for each of our degree programs, we have a program director who is in that particular program. And so I'm going to hopefully pick out the people that are here. You've got the list of names here on the screen. Business Information Systems, Renee Reitzma. Management, Keith Levitt. Merchandising, Hal Koenig. And Marilyn Reed. All of our design programs. The next set of people that you will very likely meet while you're here are the professional development coordinators. These again are the individuals in programs that do things like service faculty advisors for the program clubs. They also develop and deliver newsletters for the programs. So for accounting, we have Amy Bourne. For apparel design, Brigitte Kluber. Business Information Systems, VT Raja. For entrepreneurship, Michelle Marie. And merchandising management as well, Brigitte Kluber again. And I think I've got everybody here. All right, and the leadership team, that's me over there. So I see everything, oversee everything undergraduate. Audrey Gafford-Celine is the Executive Director of Strategic Initiatives. She oversees our marketing and communication team as well as our continuing education programs. Jonathan Arthurs, he oversees all of our tenure and tenure-track faculty. And John Becker-Blees, Associate Dean of Graduate Student Development, is my counterpart. He oversees the MBA program and the MSc programs. And last but not least is our Dean, Jim Coakley. Jim is actually an undergraduate here at OSU, graduating in, should I say? In math, I know that. The year? He graduated in 1970 from OSU with a degree in math. He joined the faculty here in 1990, and this year he's taken over as the interim dean for our college. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jim.
Well, thank you, and I'll also extend my welcome to all of you that chose us. We really appreciate that you did that. This is commencement, and this is in Research Stadium, what will happen in anywhere from 1 year for some of you that can crash out of here in 4 terms, to those of you who will take 6 years. But someday you'll line up in the mall around the library and you'll march down, go into Research Stadium. Your family and friends will be in those stands. You will walk up to the stage and we will hand you your diploma, your actual diploma. It doesn't come in the mail 6 weeks later. You go across the stage, we give you your diploma. So that's what's going to happen anywhere from 1 year to 6 years, right? Depending on how long you guys decide to take. That's our goal. Our goal is for everyone in this room to walk into Research Stadium and get your diploma. That's our goal. We need your help to do that. Our success rate for transfer students to graduate is not where we would like it to be. So some of you start and you don't finish. And so what we're trying to do is figure out, and we've done a lot of research, what can we do to help you succeed? So we know you can do it. We're here to help you do that. So we know you can do it because we have things called admission standards. And when you meet those admission standards, right, we've established those over many years. We know that if you come in from a community college, you've already shown that you can do college level work. You've been in a community college. When you come here, we just need to put some more support around you. But we know you can make it because you've already demonstrated that you can do that. So some of the things that over the years that we've realized we need to add to you so that you can take advantage of it. Academic advisors. So we introduced them earlier. You need to work with your advisor. Right? Work with your advisor, make sure you map out a program plan to get out of here and not take extra courses. That's important. Mentors. We assign mentors, make sure that you have someone you can work with. Meeting new people. So you'll hear about Fridays in Austin. You're going to meet new people here because in the course that we're putting you in, right, it's going to be other transfer students. You get a chance to meet other transfer students. But we also have Fridays in Austin where you get to meet business people. You get to network with business people. And you get to start figuring out what you want to do when you graduate. Support for financial aid. Financial aid can be confusing. Again, you started a community college. You've done some of this. Believe it or not, Oregon State's different. So it's not exactly the same as what you did in the community college. So we're adding that support layer there so that if you have questions, you can get that support. Dedicated career success. So that's Dan and his group. They're here to help you get internships and to help you find a job. So that when you graduate, you can move on and be successful in a career, not just have a diploma. And then lots of campus-wide support. So lots of things for both physical and mental well-being. These are all the services that we've kind of wrapped around this program. They call it the blueprint. We've wrapped it around the blueprint so that we can help you succeed. Now, you've already done some of these steps. You've already worked hard to get here. So you did that at a community college. You demonstrated you can do college level work. You came here. So we know you already know how to work hard. The other thing we're going to ask you to do is to be engaged, make sure you get involved, and to give back. All right, so we're going to give you some examples of this. Working hard. Kate Johnson was an accounting graduate. She graduated here. She went down to the Silicon Valley area. She worked for an accounting firm for a few years and then decided she wanted to go with a startup. Now, the problem with startups is, so she went in to be a CFO at a startup, and you think, all right, chief financial officer. Well, she did HR, she did payroll, she basically did everything. Because in a startup, you cover lots of things. You don't just get to do finance. So she started as a CFO, did basically everything. As the firm grew, she moved up. She's now the CEO of a startup in the Silicon Valley. That's hard work. Working for a startup is hard work. Terrence. Terrence was actually a student of mine. He went through the information systems program, got out, took a job with Deloitte & Touche in consulting, went down to the Bay Area. So he was in the Bay Area doing consulting, got admitted into MIT. So he earned his graduate degree at MIT. That's hard work. So he worked really hard to get that. He came out of MIT and he worked for a few small companies like IBM. He worked his way up to be a vice president at SAP, and SAP is one of the largest software companies for what they call CRM software, company-wide software that a lot of companies use. So he worked up to be a vice president, and then he decided to go to ServiceNow. ServiceNow is a $2 billion software company. So he's now one of the directors in that company. And finally, Chris and Jeremy Cox, they were also my students. So they one went to Portland, one went to Seattle. They were in consulting. They knew that they didn't want to work, right? It took them a couple years to realize they didn't want to work for somebody else. So they started saving their money. And after 4 years, they'd saved enough to go buy a restaurant in Bend. Anybody here from Bend? Yeah, a couple people. So they bought a restaurant in Bend, became very popular, and then they got tired of doing that, and they decided, since they really liked to drink beer, they would get into brewing. And they formed a brewing company, and they knew better than to think that they would brew beer. They liked beer, they didn't like the stuff that they could make, so they hired people to brew beer. And they used their business skills and turned this into a business, not just a hobby. And it grew into something called 10 Barrel Brewing, which I think is the third largest brewery now in the state. So again, people who worked hard, right, tried to make things a success. So those are just a couple of our alumni that came out of this program. Okay, being engaged. Being engaged means that you do more than just go to class. We're going to give you lots of opportunities. We're going to give you the Friday in Austin options. We're going to give you opportunities to network and meet people. You need to take advantage of that. And when I'm out talking to alumni, most of them will say that what really mattered in their life in college was what they did outside of class. The friends they made, the networking, the skills that they learned. So we have a great example of someone who was engaged. It's Ken Austin. And you'll notice we're in Austin Hall. So yes, they were the donors, the major donors for Austin Hall. Ken Austin was the first Benny Beaver. So he kind of went out of his comfort zone to be the first Benny Beaver. So we have a little presentation for you to talk about that.
I'm Ken Austin, Oregon State's first Benny Beaver back in 1952, and I just had a wonderful time learning how to act in front of crowds and entertain the crowds, and I'm just proud that the history still goes on. In the spring of 1952, right over here at Gill Coliseum, we met at the athletic director's office. A bunch of us turned out for the rally squad. A fraternity brother was going to do it, and I thought it would be fun to do with him. He won the selection, and on the way back to the fraternity house, said, "Do you know why I won?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Because I propose that we have a student mascot, and I'd like for you to be the student mascot." And I said, "What the heck is a student mascot?" And in that picture that we held up this afternoon, that's Bill Sundstrom standing in the background, and he was the one that had the proposal for a student mascot. I bought a costume head at a costume shop, decorated it with shag rug, made the tail out of a big piece of sponge rubber, wore football pants and a football jersey. I think it was a football jersey. In high school, I was Kenny Austin. And I think maybe after a few beers with Bill, I might have said, "You know, why don't we call him Benny?" Because I was called Kenny. But who knows? The school has done wonderful things for me. I have no idea what my life would be like if I hadn't been Benny Beaver. It gave me self-confidence. But I'm awfully proud of my school. I love you, Benny.
Be engaged. And finally, give back. So I'll give you 2 examples of people who gave back. Obviously, Ken Austin, for Austin Hall, the major gift there. Another alumni who was very successful, Al and Pat Reeser. They actually started Reeser Fine Food in their garage. They made potato salad, they sold it, became successful, and it grew into a very large company, Reeser's Fine Food. And when you go down to the football stadium, you'll see Reeser Stadium. So they're the major gift donor for remodeling Reeser Stadium. And you think, okay, that's great. Those are alumni. How can I give back? Well, what you're going to find is you're going to be good at something, right? You may be good at math, and you'll have a friend or somebody in your class that's struggling in math. Well, you give back by helping, by tutoring them. And likewise, you may struggle in writing. You may struggle in your history class. You find someone, right, one of your peers that is better at that, and they give back. So giving back starts right now. You don't have to wait till you're successful. You can give back in time and in talent. So give back. So those are the 3 lessons that we really want you to remember, is to work hard, continue to work hard, be engaged, get outside of your classes, be engaged, and give back. All right, with that, I'm now going to introduce Emma. Emma is a transfer student. She came from Umpqua College. She came here after her first year. So she was 1 year at Umpqua College, came up here. She's an accounting major. So I'll introduce Emma.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emma Burke. I am a 19-year-old 4th-year junior here at Oregon State University, majoring in accounting. I grew up in a super small town called Elkton, Oregon. Many of you have probably never heard of it. It's in Southern Oregon. And I transferred from Umpqua Community College. In June of 2018, I graduated with my high school diploma, and a week later, I graduated with my associate's degree from that community college, where I then transferred to Oregon State University last fall. So, with that, let me tell you that transferring from a super small community college to Oregon State University, the biggest and the best college town in the Pac-12, was terrifying. I was so nervous about who to connect with, where I could find help, and how I could succeed at such a high academic level. So, my advice to you is get involved, volunteer, join a club or an organization that excites you, that sparks your interest, whether it be relevant to your major or not. I'm an accounting major who participates in Special Olympics and competes in the mock trials for the College of Liberal Arts. So it doesn't have to be relevant to your major, but if you get involved, it will benefit your future in some way. Secondly, get to know your instructors. They're here to help you succeed. Utilize the resources available to you here in the College of Business. We have endless amounts of opportunities. If you're looking to revamp your resume, drop by the Career Success Center. If you need professional wear, visit Benny's Business Closet. If you're ready to meet professionals in your industry, attend a career fair. Again, there are countless opportunities for your own self-growth and career readiness preparation. So really take advantage of that. And lastly, get out of your comfort zone. We're all here to learn and experience the best years of our lives. So really, use that. Let's learn and grow together. I know that I was once in your shoes, and I know it can be an exciting time. So I really hope that you make the most of your time here being a Beaver. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Sandy Newbaum, the Director of Student Engagement. Thank you. Thanks so much.
So, as we wrap this evening up, I have just one question for you. As you think about the next 2 to 3 years you're going to spend with us, and that question is, do you ever wonder what you would do if you weren't afraid? If you weren't afraid of what people think, would you get off Instagram and actually talk to the person sitting next to you? Would you show up at a club meeting, even if you didn't know soul? Would you take an art class, go country western line dancing, join the rugby team? If you weren't afraid of looking silly, would you sit up front, raise your hand, ask a question, answer a question, even if you could be completely wrong? Would you go see one of your professors during office hours? Would you join that body pump class at Dixon, even if you've never really worked out? What would you do with your life if you didn't let fear hold you back? If you weren't afraid of failure, would you try all the things, run a race, start a business? If you weren't afraid of not fitting in, would you pass on following the crowd and instead forge your own path? Would you say yes to late night Taco Bell runs? Would you go to the beach just to watch the sun come up? Would you play humans versus zombies? What would you do with your life if you didn't let fear hold you back? If you weren't afraid of making a mistake, would you volunteer and give a speech? Learn to ski? Teach financial literacy to middle school kids? What would you do with your life? If you weren't afraid of the world in which we live, would you spend a weekend whitewater rafting on the Snake River in Idaho? Would you study Spanish, but do it in Chile or in Spain? Would you take summer classes, but instead of doing them in Corvallis, go to London on our study abroad program? If you weren't afraid to take risks, would you just turn to the person sitting next to you today and say, "You're another transfer student, let's go have coffee and talk"? Would you join a new study group? Would you learn to dance or go line dancing? Would you take up a sport, go on an adventure? Better yet, go on an adventure, but take a new friend with you. If you weren't afraid of being judged, would you speak out, stand up for an injustice, stand up with somebody different for you, stand against cruelty? Look, here's the reality. Life begins for you at the end of your comfort zone. And we want you to stretch and reach and grow. This is going to be an amazing time in your life. So on behalf of Oregon State and the College of Business, we are damn glad you're here. Thank you.